You know, immediately when I talked to you, B.J. Thomas, I started thinking of Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid. In fact, I made a reference to that movie not long ago because I saw Thelma and Louise, I guess is what it is.
Yeah.
About these two gals that are on the run. And I started thinking of Butch Cassidy, and then I started thinking about that great music that comes to mind, The Raindrops Keep Falling on My Head. That was your song, wasn't it?
Well, yeah, I was recording with Scepter Records back then in New York City, and Burt Bacharach and, of course, Hal David, the guy that wrote all the lyrics to Burt's music. They were recording Dionne Warwick and various artists on that label, and when they wrote the soundtrack for Butch Cassidy, I guess I just was in the right place at the right time. I just had 2 million sellers on The Eyes of a New York Woman and Hooked on a Feeling, so it was kind of in the back of their minds because they knew I was hot at the moment, and you know, I happened to get the shot. I was on the road working the Midwest, and they called me, asked me to come to California, and I went out and did the soundtrack, and you know, I guess it's still you know, one of the records I'm most proud of in my career.
Well, you've had some good ones, that's for sure.
I've been really lucky, I sure have.
You've had your problems. Everybody has their ups and downs in show business, and I think you're back on the way up again, aren't you?
Well, I haven't made you know, many records over the last few years, but I've been working on. I'm with Warner Brothers Records right now. I'm working on my next album, which hopefully I'll get out late this summer or by early fall. And it really is some of the best stuff I've ever done. I'm trying to take it slow and you know, really cut a record I can be proud of, because over the last years I think I've kind of gone in sometime and rushed through them trying to get a hit record out, that kind of thing. So you know, I think I'm fixing to come back on the radio. We'll have to wait and see, though.
Yeah, you know, I was talking to Roy Clark not too long ago, and he said he finally gave up on this idea of just being able to cut a record whenever you thought you could fit it into your schedule, because he wound up doing some recordings when he had colds and the like, and he said it just doesn't sound right. You gotta take your time and do it right.
A lot of times, yeah, I agree with him. A lot of times, especially with the Nashville recording and the kind of formula way they go about things, you know, sometimes you go in, you pick your songs, and gosh, you know, you get the whole album recorded in a week. And you know, back in the Raindrops days and the Hooked on a Feeling days, those things, we would take at least 4 or 5 months to record an album. Take our time and make sure we were satisfied with every note. Now that's kind of what I've gone back to now. I'm recording out in L.A. now with Steve Tyrell, a guy that I made a lot of my hit records with, and you know, we're trying to just slow down now and do it. I think in Roy's case, he's a lot like me. We've been around so long that just to go in and do a good song is not good enough. We need to really go in and make a real, true expression of what we can do, and do something that you know, as close as we can get to, do something that really makes a statement and is kind of special. So, you know, that's what I'm trying to do now.
Yeah. You know, that's got to be a real trick, to stand there or sit in the recording studio for quite a long time and finally come up with something that really impresses yourself or impresses you.
Yeah, it's hard to do. You have to look at it in a real personal way, I think. That you have to start finding songs that you can relate to in a very personal sense. Mm-hmm. And that's what we've done on this. I've started writing. I've written a lot of things for this album. So some of the first music songs really I've written in 15 years. So I think it's important to make a very personal statement, something that people feel like you really mean, and not just go in and try to cut something that has a good hook and try to sell some records. And
you ever get frustrated when people try to pigeonhole artists? They say, well, this is a definite country artist. Now this one's a rock artist. This one's kind of a crossover. You don't sit down and say, what I'm going to try to do is come up with a country song this time, do you?
No, not really. You know, I've kind of been in a lot of the pigeonholes. You know, I guess at first they considered me pop, and then when I went in and did the gospel music, they thought I was a gospel singer, and now maybe the majority of people look at me as a country singer. But this album, I've cut some pop things on it. I've got a spiritual song on it that David Crosby from Crosby, Stills and Nash is singing harmony with me on, and I've done some country on this album, so we'll try to touch all the pigeonholes this time.
Yeah, I haven't seen you written up in the National Enquirer or any of those places, but not lately anyway. But correct me if I'm wrong, you had kind of a bad time after all this Hooked on a Feeling and Raindrops Keep Falling on My Head. Your career kind of went away, and you had some tough times, didn't you?
Well, I'm like just about everybody in their life, has that. I can't believe that phone is ringing, Ken.
You want to break it? Let's break for a commercial. You can handle that, and we'll come right back, huh?
Okay. Well, I'm not. My secretary will get it, but I didn't realize the ring would come over the line.
It's all right.
Doggone it. What was the question?
Well, the question was, you want to talk about some of those rougher times in your life, or will you just soon forget them?
I think every person, whether they're in the public eye or whatever, has their dramatic moments, their tragedies, and their highs and their lows. And I guess in my case, they've been well publicized, and that maybe is maybe a negative. But I think in some ways it hopefully did some people some good to hear a story where a guy pulled through. Mm-hmm. And I continue to just go through life and try to learn my lessons. I think your situations. Without trying to get too philosophical here, all situations you find yourself in are there to help you. If you find yourself in trouble or maybe addicted to a drug or whatever, it's there to serve you and show you that that's maybe not the way to go. Just on the other side, you'll have some good times, and they're there to show you that maybe you're on the right track.
Yeah, and if you take a look at that negative stuff and use it as a learning experience, boy, you have a lot of stuff to draw from.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I don't think that all these experiences need to be experienced, but some of us go through them, and hopefully we can keep our head up and stay true to who we are, and they'll serve us.
I just thought of something. Considering you shot a 75 yesterday on the golf course, you don't want to keep your head up.
Oh yeah, I want to keep my head down. That's true. That's true.
You've taken up golf fairly recently, have you? Or
I took up golf a few years ago. I guess about 15 years ago when I first took my first extended leave from road travel. A friend of mine took me out on the golf course, and I was just immediately hooked. Just on the experience, and gosh, I've learned a lot about myself on the golf course too.
You learned that you have a bigger vocabulary than you thought.
Oh, absolutely. It's almost, on the golf course though, I'm sure it translates over to life situations. But if you're on the golf course and you bust one over in the lake, the first time you put your head down, it's hard to get your head back up. So you just have to keep your composure and walk through it.
Yeah, I shouldn't say you've taken the game up lately, but you've gotten quite good lately. And that 75 was shot where yesterday?
I shot that yesterday at the Glen Gardens Country Club in Fort Worth, Texas. That's the course where Ben Hogan, Byron Nelson got their first caddy jobs and where they learned how to play golf. And it's a nice old-style course and just a lot of fun.
Let's see, you shot a 75 and the par is 45, right?
yeah. Par was 71. I don't shoot many rounds in the 70s, but that it was encouraging. Yesterday.
Well, congratulations. That's a neat feeling.
Thank you.
I tell you, I just get like one or two good drives when I get out, and that's just enough to drag me back sometimes.
That's what it takes.
Yeah, but you're going to be in our midst. The reason we're talking to B.J. Thomas, by the way, is the fact that B.J. is going to be in Bloomington Normal at Crestwick Country Club on July the 7th, and then you're going to be participating in the DAY Bring golf tournament, as I understand it, on the next day. That would be Monday.
Yeah, Ken, we're going to do the show for the contestants and the participants and the country club on the 7th, and then I'm going to play in the golf tournament on the 8th.
Okay.
Really looking forward to it. I play out at the AT&T and down at Bay Hill and in Greensboro and a lot of little celebrity tournaments, and I just really enjoy that.
As I understand it, I'll get a chance to meet you because I'm supposed to introduce you that night, so...
Oh, great. Well, man, we'll figure out. I want you to lay it on thick.
you just write all that stuff down you want me to lie about.
I'll write it out.
And I'll do it with a straight face, I promise. I think people, in fact, the general public can get tickets for the concert
I believe so. I'm not real sure how it's set up, but I think they can.
Yeah, the information I have is that they can call the Brayton box office over at Illinois State University and arrange to get tickets. And this will be a concert out under the stars, so you have to watch it when you're singing. You know, those bugs get pretty thick. You ever swallow a grasshopper?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, you'll be out there singing something, you think a sparrow flew down your throat, you know. But we did this show for him 2 or 3 years ago. It's just a lot of fun. People in the golf tournament are just there to have a good time, and it's just been a lot of fun.
Okay. Well, yeah, you've been through this area before, at least a couple times.
Oh yeah.
Huh?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Do you find yourself doing a lot of like one-night gigs then? You're on the road a lot?
Yes, sir. This year I'll probably do 200 one-nighters, and then we did a month in Vegas earlier this year, and I'll be in Reno later this year, and possibly Lake Tahoe. And we just since I started recording in earnest again, we just felt like I needed to get on the road and go to work, and it's been a lot of fun.
Mm-hmm. Well, there's a lot of outdoor opportunities. I think bigger and bigger complexes have outdoor concerts. It seems. And
yeah, it's the thing has really changed on the road. Of course, I'm not telling you anything new. It's just the road has become a lot more difficult to do. It's more expensive. Your listeners know that the tickets now are 4 and 5 times what they were, say, 10 years ago. So the road is a little bit more difficult to do, but it's just one of the things that I've always enjoyed. I love to record, and I love to perform. I like to get up in front of the people and get that feeling.
Well, exactly. I think in front of a live audience has to be the place where you get the most gratification. That's
true. This is one of the few professions where you get just an immediate feedback on what you've done, and there's just nothing like it.
Yeah. B.J. Thomas in town, actually at Crestwood Country Club on July the 7th. Make sure you get your tickets, because it's going to be a great night. And then, I don't know if people have an opportunity to watch you play golf or how that'll work, but I'm sure we'll get more information on that as well.
I'm sure they could get tickets for the tournaments and, come out and watch all the golfers. There's going to be a number of pros there, even possibly Payne Stewart, who just won the Open. He was there the year I was there. So they're going to be a lot of great pros out there. Of course, D.A. Weibring is one of the finest guys in the golf business and does a lot of good for people. And of course, this will probably benefit a charity in the area. So it's just a nice thing.
Sure, that D.A. has had connections here because of his college classes at ISU.
Okay.
So he went to school here. So it's going to be a lot of fun.
Oh, it's going to be great. We have the greatest time at those things, and this will be one chance to. Hopefully, we'll come off fairly well on the show and won't look too crazy. But the next day in the tournament, we'll get a chance to make fools out of ourselves in front of our fans.
This really happened to me. They talked to me. I am a lousy golfer. Don't get me. I'm not exaggerating when I say that. Maybe this has happened to you, or you've seen it happen before. I got on an invitation thing to play in this one tournament to raise money for a good cause. And I went, and I really hadn't picked up a club in about 3 years, and I hit the ball having no idea where it was going to go, and it landed right on the green.
All right.
So immediately when we started walking out, there's this little entourage that formed to watch me. They thought, this guy's pretty good.
Did they find out right quick?
Well, they did. I putted, and I got in pretty good.
You brought them back to reality.
I made a par, as I recall, on the first hole. Second one, I just, whiffed the ball. And turned around, and everybody was sort of wandering away, going their own little ways.
Oh, yeah, that wasn't who we thought it was.
Yeah, that's exactly right. Well, I hope that doesn't happen to you, but we'll look forward to seeing you July 7th. And B.J. Thomas, it's nice to chat with you.
Ken, it's been great. I want to thank you and all your listeners for keeping me around all these years, and we're looking forward to seeing everybody at DA's tournament.
All right, best of luck with the career, and we'll see you then.
Okay, buddy, thank you.